It looks like we might be losing access to our Chinaman plantations. We no longer gonna be able to buy Chinaman on the cheap here in the United States. And that might be a worrying sign. So what do I mean by the Chinaman plantations? Well, basically, our economic system, our financial system here in the United States over about the past 30 years has had this idea. What if Chinaman builds everything that we want, we buy it from them for cheap, and then we slap our brand name on it, we do our marketing, we spit polish the thing, and then we basically get outsized returns. So China builds the thing that we're actually going to be selling, we buy it incredibly inexpensively, we put it in a fancy box, we wrap it in a hell of a lot of marketing, and basically that's where all the value comes from, right? You buy it, Apple or whoever buys the computer from a Chinese factory for $100, and then with all the marketing and everything that goes into selling the product, they then sell it for $1,000. Somehow Apple or these companies walk away with $900 in value gain, whereas China only gets that $100 in value gain. And that was considered, I don't know, that was considered a system that would continue infinitum into the future. No, nobody ever thought, like, hey, what if Chinaman just came up with their own brands? What if Chinaman just started selling directly to the American public? What if Chinaman doubled the price that they were selling at, but again, just sold directly to the American public? So the Chinese are making twice what they were yesterday, and the American public is getting the products for a fraction of the price that they were buying yesterday. I mean, China wouldn't actually do that now, would they? But anyways, that's what we've seen over the past number of years, is China has been trying to sell more directly to American and global consumers. And we're actually even starting to see the rise of, Chinese technology brands like BYD and that type of thing all around the world. Huawei. I remember when I couldn't even be bothered to figure out how to say Huawei. Because who cares? Who fucking cares? It's Huawei. Now you're like, oh, you better know how to say Huawei, right? Well, anyways, one of the interesting things that's been happening over the past couple of years, right, is that old way of doing things is failing. It's falling apart. But again, we have this plantation mentality here in the United States, and so then the question is well, what can we buy from China? What can China produce inexpensively? Then we can basically swoop in, purchase it for a very low price, slap our branding and the rest of it on there, and then make these outsized returns. And so one of the ideas that's been coming up for the past couple of years is, what if we buy their startup companies, right? So basically you have these startup companies in China, they actually get some traction, they start going somewhere, they do this whole Singapore washing thing where they transfer themselves to Singapore or to Hong Kong or somewhere else, and then American companies or American investors swoop in, purchase these startup companies for a very low value, bring that in to their companies or their organizations in order to get those outsized returns again. And, it should come as no shock that the Chinese government doesn't seem to be too pleased on this idea. Wait a minute. We are going to train our people. We are going to have top-notch, STEM facilities and manufacturing and all that kind of thing. And then the Americans think they can just swoop in, buy our companies for pennies on the dollar, and then try to get all the value once they brought it back to the United States. How about no? And so what we just saw recently is we saw Meta by this company called Manus. So Manus creates these agents. And again, to be clear, I'm not really sure what Meta was going to do with this company. Have I told you how little I understand Max and Mark Zuckerberg's plan for the future? Anyways, who knows, right? Facebook, Meta has a shit ton of money. Manus actually has a product that people are using. Apparently they got to $100 million in annual recurring revenue, faster than any company has ever done in the past. So Meta swoop in to try to buy this company for $2 billion. And China is now saying, no. They're saying no. And I think this is interesting to take a look at, just to realize, like, think about this with all of the other stuff going on between US and China relations, and just realize how we're stair-stepping things. There was a time not that long ago that it was simply expected China would do whatever the hell we told them to do. And it's slowly not working so well anymore. So anyways, from CNBC, China blocks Meta's $2 billion takeover of AI startup Manus. China's state planner on Monday called for Meta to unwind its $2 billion acquisition of Manus, a Singaporean AI startup with Chinese roots. The decision to prohibit foreign investment in Manus was made in accordance with laws and regulations, the National Development and Reform Commission said in a brief statement. It added that it has asked the parties involved to withdraw the acquisition transaction. The Chinese government intervention in the transaction drew alarm among tech founders and venture capitalists in the country that were hoping to take advantage of the so-called, quote, Singapore washing model, where companies relocate from China to the city-state to avoid scrutiny from Beijing and Washington. And again, I think this is going to be interesting in this whole AI world that we have going on right now. Again, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to figure out how to make their billions of dollars, right? Chinese people are people. I'm just going to put on they be people, and they're trying to make their billions of dollars too. And so with all this money sloshing around in the American financial systems looking for an outlet in the AI world, right? There's a lot of impetus to have the Chinese founders try to figure out how to get their companies into the American world. But the issue is, for China, as a startup companies leave China and go into the American world, right? There's all kinds of, issues with that. So it looks like China is trying to restrict that. And I'll be curious what that means for, I don't know, the whole AI revolution going forward. Manus said it had passed $100 million in annual recurring revenue in December, 8 months on from launching a product, which it claimed made it the fastest startup in the world at the time to hit the milestone from $0. The company raised $75 million in a round led by US VC Benchmark in April last year. And this is going to be one of the interesting things to see going forward too, is how much longer American companies are going to be able to invest in Chinese companies, period. When Meta announced the deal late last year, the tech giant said it would look to accelerate AI innovation for business and integrate advanced automation into its consumer and enterprise products, including its Meta AI assistant. But in January, China's Ministry of Commerce said it would conduct an assessment and investigation into how the acquisition complied with laws and regulations concerning export controls. Again, what everybody's getting focused on right now, export controls, technology import and export, and overseas investment. So anyways, Chinese government says no. And so what's that gonna do? What's that gonna do? Again, you think about, like, especially in the AI world right now, there's so much money that's sloshing around that's trying to chase after anything in the AI space, right? Again, you look at this with Meta. I truly have no idea what Mark Zuckerberg's plan for Meta and AI is. It doesn't make sense, but he just has a tremendous amount of money. So that money has been going everywhere. One of the interesting things to be thinking about here is what happens when they can no longer invest into China, period. It's also kind of interesting to be thinking about what happens if China restricts outside AI investment to force Chinese companies to actually be, I don't know, realistic with their valuations. I talked about this before with DeepSeek. So DeepSeek apparently is looking for investment. They're getting about $300 million round, with a $10 billion valuation, right? So again, you got Anthropic, that's at $500 billion to $1 trillion. You got OpenAI, that's $880 billion to $1 trillion. You have SpaceX, that's $1.7 to $2 trillion. Even Cursor, right? It's a fine, don't get me wrong, it's a fine company. There's this company called Cursor. They just got an investment from SpaceX. Again, valued them at $50 billion. And one of my arguments with so much of this stuff in the AI world is just the valuations are just fucking insane. Again, I'm not anti-vector databases. I'm not anti-transformer or Mamba 2 or any of this other horse shit. But these numbers are bad shit, fucking crazy. And there's so much money being driven into the AI bubble in the United States. I think we're going to run into a real problem when these companies simply can't live up to those expectations. Again, think about this, right? If OpenAI IPOs at $1 trillion, think about how much money they have to be bringing in. At the exact same time, there's more competitors than ever. The value of the product that they're selling is going down, and there's a whole bunch of other things, right? And I think one of the things we're getting into is in the United States, we're getting to this point where the bubble itself may destroy the entire sector, if not our entire economy, right? It's literally becoming a danger. And what becomes interesting, though, is if you look at what China's doing, if they're trying to restrict the bubbleization of this whole AI space, focus on actually creating products and services that actually solve problems in the whole 9 yards, could, at the end of the day, they get most or all the value out of artificial intelligence without creating the systemic risk that we are here in the United States. I think that's going to be one of the interesting things to kind of look at with, you know, what China is doing compared to the U.S. And, you know, as I say, like when I look at what they're doing, you know, we're building bubbles and they're creating tech stacks. Like, it's fascinating right now. They're launching their own AI data centers. But if you look at it, it's a very reasonable constellation of AI data centers. They're like, we are going to launch a constellation of AI data centers for research purposes and all this kind of stuff to see basically how well this works. And like, okay, again, that's reasonable, right? You gotta put money on the table to figure out what works and what doesn't work. They're gonna launch a little constellation, see how that does. Again, like I'm not actually anti-AI data centers in space. Again, I don't think it's the greatest idea in the world, but it's not the stupidest. It's not actually the stupidest in 2026. But here's the thing. There is a difference between China saying, we are going to put up this constellation of AI data centers to see how all of this works and see what the value proposition is and blah, 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 versus you have Elon Musk here in the United States literally saying he wants to create a moon base on on the moon, so that every hour they can use a mass driver to launch more AI data centers into space. Like one country is like, hey, why don't we put a few of these things up in orbit and see how it does and see what the cost-benefit analysis is and then figure out whether we should move forward with it? Like, that's what China's doing. And the United States is like, let's build an entire moon base and create a factory that will build the AI data centers on that moon base. And then we're going to have a mass driver that's going to continuously launch these. And you're like, what the fuck? Because of course, everybody knows real estate on the moon is a fraction of the price of real estate in Wyoming, right? Building massive data centers in Wyoming is obviously stupid on the face of it. It's going to be far more affordable to put all those data centers into orbit. Come on now. Anyways, so I'll be curious to see how this goes. Again, it's interesting with this whole thing, like with Cursor, right? So Elon Musk, SpaceX, invested in Cursor, but actually put an agreement in that investment that they can buy Cursor for $50 billion. $50 billion. Anyways, and again, I'm not anti-Cursor. I'm truly not anti-Cursor. But you're like $50 billion for Cursor, right? And again, one of the concerns is if you look at SpaceX, there is no way that the valuation makes a damn bit of sense. $1.72 trillion doesn't make sense, right? They make like $15-20 billion a year off of SpaceX as it is, and most of that is Starlink. Again, it is surprising how little money there is launching shit into space. I'm surprised. I was like, what? Wow. But it's true. There is more money in banner ads than there is in launching shit into space. That's just how our economy currently works. Anyways, so if you look at SpaceX, the real play is the AI play, right? The $1.72 trillion valuation isn't actually launching shit into space. It's AI. So they've got XAI, that who cares, right? And they've got Grok, which who cares? And so one of the concerns is if you have the wealthiest man in the world with a company that already has access to a tremendous amount of capital, and they're trying to burnish their portfolio to make it seem like they should be worth $1.72 trillion. One of the big concerns is what happens if they start using all of their excess money to buy AI companies that are viable. Might not be worth $50 billion, but they're still fucking viable, right? They are viable. They have a path into the future. They have all. But what happens when they start getting snapped up, being brought into this behemoth that is SpaceX or whatever else? SpaceX IPOs. The IPO fucking fails, or after the IPO goes out, it fails. And then what? You had valuable companies with a real path to the future that now all just get sucked down in this morass of the insanity of the current AI bubble. You know what happens there? And it's an interesting thing to think about. What if the Chinese government is just trying to keep their AI companies out of that insanity? Like your books have to make sense. Right? Your P&E ratios have to make sense. You can't go this asininely stupid. I'll be curious to see where that goes into the future. Because yeah, it's interesting seeing this, and again, along with the thing with SpaceX trying to buy a Cursor, or most likely going to try to buy Cursor in the future. It'll be curious to see what happens when one society, when China tries to keep valuations and things within the realm of sanity at least, and we keep doing what we're doing. Who do you think is going to win that particular fight? Anyways, what do you think about this? What do you think about China demanding the rollback of the acquisition of Manus by Meta? Do you think this makes sense? Is it a good or bad thing? What do you think? What do you think about China starting to be more forceful on these things, trying to protect the things that are created in their country? What do you think that means going forward? What happens when the Chinaman plantation closes? What happens in the United States when we can no longer buy things for pennies on the dollar, slap branding and a marketing budget on it, and sell it for $10,000? What happens to our economy then? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. See y'all later.